Welcome, and thank you for paying me your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, as I said earlier, that it is all politics. And in politics, the narrative is chief, is important, because that is what persuades or rather influences public perception. The narrative you sell does not have to be conscious, provided it is the narrative that is what sells. If the narrative is despondency, if it is lack of hope, if it is surrender to the reality, then that is the political narrative. But there can be a different narrative. And that narrative, despite the odds and the reality that confronts us, is our welfare and security. That narrative states that our welfare, that our security is the primary purpose of government. Therefore, it is our interest in electing public officials. So a public official comes to you. The election season is upon us. 2 years, time has come. Battle lines are drawn. You hear of a non-coalition coalition. People decamping and calling it a coalition. My party, the All Progressives Congress, laughing at anything they can laugh at, seeing it as an unserious threat. And the people of Nigeria desperately searching for a messiah, even though none was prophesied, forgetting that you are the messiah. Your attitude, your behavior, your approach towards political issue is what makes you the messiah, because it is your attention that makes the difference. How you channel the narrative, what narrative you champion, that is the game changer. That is what sparks the flame. That is what starts the conversation. So your welfare and security, is it just a vague term? Oh no, there are specifics to your welfare and security. And one of such specific is in agriculture. That is what we plant, because food must be readily available. So the minimum effort we put into agricultural input, the aim is to yield maximum results. The target crop, there are target crops, but in particular for carbohydrate is yam, for protein is egusi. We also require our fishing capabilities. That is, those fishing on the high sea or within the inland waters, to have modern equipment, not just modern equipment for safe fishing practices, but also a support system called the cold chain. Cold chain means cold room, right from their vessel to the port of call and eventually to the market, and the vehicle transporting to the market. That means we should be able to preserve our fish. I'm sure it will not stay longer than a week, but it should be able to stay as long as necessary to keep down price of fish. It is an important source of protein, and as I can tell from the Bible, it's permitted to be eaten. So that is about agriculture. There are other areas, but the specific of it will not necessarily satisfy our curiosity. The real spark is the narrative itself, the narrative of our welfare and security. Let me tell you, it is too small for a local government to insist that every market within our vicinity shall have a standard slaughter, that is an abattoir, a standard abattoir and a cold room facility, so that we can take advantage of it to preserve meat, fish, and perishables, and dairy, and all the allied products that come out of dairy, which includes cheese and whatnot. Does it seem far-fetched? If it seems far-fetched, then you haven't gotten the point. The point is that your mindset, your belief, and how you project that belief becomes the political narrative. And that political narrative goes a long way in influencing the outcome of any election. So if the narrative is about suffering, you're on the back foot. If it is about hope, perhaps. Hope of what? Hope of a better life? Does it come with a plan, or is it just wishy-washy talk? A better life equals jobs. Jobs means there is fulfillment from activity. Job means that the infrastructure that we lack so dearly will be created. That includes road, rails built by citizens of Nigeria for income to be spent in Nigeria. We have a situation where huge amounts are allocated to projects, but the workers in that project do not benefit from that sum. Just a contractor. That's unfair. That's unfair practice. And I hear this practice has seeped into our oil industry in the name of local content that was created to improve the situation and the welfare of Nigerians, has become a problem to Nigerians in the industry, as everybody is bidding low, paying less, and cutting corners. You see, the narrative goes beyond politics. It is our way of life, and if we choose a narrative that brings the best out of society, the best in us, then we will be better for it. I end this message with 3 simple words: love, peace, and unity. Take care, my brethren. I see you soon.